die, at least tell me your name.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Bruce?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm taking a break from these massive builds that I've been working on, such as the 1970 GTO convertible and the 1970 GTO Super Stocker, for the Mr. Mole and Buddy Appreciation build. And I decided that I'm going to do something a little bit different now. Just for fun, going to knock out a quick kit, as you can see behind me. These two little builds are very easy, quick builds, which you can knock out probably in about a day or so. It's going to take me a little longer because I'm going to make some changes. As usual, I just can't build anything box stock. So I've got to make some changes that will hopefully improve it, unless I completely screw it up, in which case then it'll be a recipe for disaster, as I sometimes seem to have. So anyway, I'm going to start off with this Dark Knight build. I have the Batman from the Dark Knight and I have the Batpod. Both of these are going to be assembled, but in a slightly different way than was intended, as they're going to be done in a comics accurate coloring, as opposed to straight off the Dark Knight trilogy movies. I've decided that the colors on Batman are going to be more closely aligned with what's in the comic books, or the Ben Affleck's Batfleck Batman from the Batman vs. Superman and Justice League movies, as his is the most comics accurate Batman that I've seen on screen to date. So I wanted to join me on this. It's going to be a quick one, and we'll have some fun putting Batman together and getting them out there to fight crime. Alright guys, let's get started on this and jump in with a quick little ASMR unboxing. I've never done that before. ASMR, I don't even really know what it means, but if you guys have seen that stuff, you'll know what it is. So it's just me being silly again because, hey, why not? So let's jump right into it and take a look.
This is my hangout. I hang out here every day, so yeah. The wife appreciates that, I'm sure. What's that? The wife appreciates that. The place we've always lived before, and always kind of kept me up. We live out in the middle of nowhere. You know, when I used to watch videos a long time ago, when it was, I know, I did now, so that's just good, because I never, so my videos always uploaded my videos, you know, it's just, that's how it is here. It's getting harder to hold on to things, so no, it's just basically me out here most of the time. I have but yeah, I have girls, and then my wife, none of them really taking an in 3D print. But my video line is all Adobe.
Alright guys, I'm going to be starting on the Moebius. As you've seen, Batman Dark Knight, or Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy, Christian Bale's Batman. But I'm going to be making some changes. There's always been some things about his costume that have always bugged me. Primarily, it's the mouth opening here, which I thought was never shaped properly. So I'm going to be changing that. I'm also going to be changing the coloring to give it more of a comics accurate look, as I'm going to be changing, there's going to be a lot of gray in it, along with the black cape and the gold colored belt, as opposed to being all black the way it was portrayed in the movie, and that way the bat on his chest will stand out a little more. So I'm going for a little more of a comics accurate look, sort of a what if the Dark Knight from Christian Bale's movie actually looked like the comic book Batman. So I've already started with some of the work on this thing. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, if you're going to build this kit, there are a few things you have to look out for. It actually comes with two complete different Batman kits in the one box. One is for the Batpod riding Batman, and one is for the standing Batman. So you're actually going to be building both of these, and you can get the Batpod kit separately and mount your Batman onto the Batpod kit. Why they decided to do that, don't know. But at least it gives you an opportunity to build two different versions of Batman. Now, I've already started carving out the faces, and I want to see if you show you guys what the difference is. This is the original mouth cutout on the original Batsuit from the movie. And this is my version of it. Basically, I've brought it up on the sides a little bit more to make it look a little more comics accurate. Let me see if I can get you guys a good look there. I've just carved out the corners, the little sanding, the little sculpting, and now we have the Batman as he was meant to be, in my opinion, as opposed to this where he kind of looks more like a cat than a bat. So I'm happy with the way that came out. Might do a little more fine tuning to it, but I have to work on the second head now to clean that one up. Now, when you're building this kit, this is the way it comes out of the box. Some parts on the sprue and some aren't. Now, in order to differentiate the two bodies, there are part numbers on the back of these parts. See, that's part number 6, or is that 9, depending on how you're looking at it. And this is part 17. Now, you're going to definitely want to know which parts are which, because you don't want to mix up the torsos and mix up the arms and legs. They're two completely different kits, and they have to be mounted completely differently. So, I'm going to get to carving out the rest of the face here, just to give us a little more definition to that cutout. But I am very happy with the way that's looking. There actually is a raised edge all the way around, so that it looks like it's actually a mask over his face. So I'm going to do a little more work on it and then start on the other head. And then we're going to start to cutting out the body pieces. There are quite a few, well, there's a lot of mold lines on this kit. And a lot of nubs here that we're going to have to cut off and clean up. I already started cleaning up the capes, which had mold lines on the sides. And sprue marks when you cut them off the sprue, so that's all got to be cleaned up. So this kit is a very simple kit, no more than a half an hour build. But if you want to clean it up and do it right, it's going to take you a bit longer. So you can see the mold lines on the head that I haven't touched. And here's the cleaned up head. So I'm going to get busy on that, and then we'll be back with another update. Alright guys, now unfortunately I screwed up and didn't record my entire process of carving the mask out. I forgot to hit the record on the camera until I was done, and then I realized that I hadn't hit record on the camera.
You big dummy.
But here's the finished product. You can see how the mask now looks more like the Batman we all know, and less like a cat. Now what I also did was I slimmed the ears down on this head just a little bit, left these the way they were, and I just wanted you to see the difference. That's just a little subtle trimming of the ears, takes away some of that cat-like look that the original had. I am much happier with this than I was with the original product. And once it's painted, I think it's really going to work out nicely. I think I didn't get that perfectly straight there. I'm not sure. I may have to clean that up a little bit more. But all of this was done just using a hobby knife. My Tamiya scribing tool. And all these different sanding sticks here. I'll get you a good look at that. And I think that's a much better looking Batman. Alright, we'll be making small subtle changes like this throughout the entire build. So, let's see what I come up with next.
Okay guys, when painting the cape, I decided that I was going to give extra coats to all of the raised edges of the cape, while leaving just light coats of black on the lowered edges. It's my hope that when the light reflects off the raised edges, the shine that it leaves on there will have it looking like flowing leather-like material. Okay, we got a little bit of bleed through on the mask. Not a problem. We can clean all that up very easily. And we still have to repaint the head anyway because I had to sand down to one parting line that I didn't see when I originally did it. So this head is going to get one more coat of the Mr. Hobby primer. And then it should be good as new. Now we just have to mask off the face, which should be pretty easy once everything is dried and cured. But we can get a good look at what it's gonna look like. Let's just take a quick peek at what it looks like. After it's all assembled. Now I think I should probably make the collar there black.
Now, as we're looking at it, I still have to do quite a bit of work on the face, but I'm looking at the collar on his shoulders, and I think I should probably paint those panels black just to make it look like it's attached to the cape and to the cowl. But we still have quite a bit of work to do on this guy. Let's unwrap the arms and see what we have now. Here's a quick assembly, and still needs a lot of work, a lot of detail work, but not for nothing, but I think it looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can throw one foot on it. That is going to look cool on the bat bike. Now this, I think, looks way better than that all black suit. I'm real happy with the way this is turning out. But still needs quite a bit of detail work. I have to highlight all of the engraving in here, Really get to make the suit stand out. But I am super happy with the way this is coming out. And the cape, I'm loving the way it looks with the satin black streaks in the fold of the cape, and the matte black streaks in the lower parts of the cape, which really give it that material-like look, like with the light reflecting only off certain surfaces of it. I think I got exactly what I was looking for with that. And the one thing that's really great about the Mr. Hobby black primer is that the more layers you apply to it, it takes on a sheen, which is what I was really looking for this build. I am really happy with this. Now, I still have quite a bit of work to do on the head and on the body, but let's clean out the other guy, the other Batman, and see how that one came out. Okay, guys. How's that? I'm happy with that. Although, I will say one thing. I think the legs are a little small for the rest of the torso on this guy.
Seriously? Man, makes me wonder what else I don't know.
Do you know you're supposed to work out your lower body, too?
Whoops. It's kind of hard to hold them together, too. But I definitely think that the gray suit is working much better. And once I fill in a lot of the details and tone down some of that gray, I think it's going to look really, really cool. Let's just see if he'll stay together long enough to get a look at him with his cape. Let's see. Just like sort of a brief preview, just like the last one. If I can just keep them together long enough to do this, which looks like that's not going to happen. But there you go, guys. That's kind of what he's going to look like if he stays in one piece. Now it's time for details. Okay, guys, just ran into a little bit of a dilemma with the Batman Dark Knight comics accurate look. I wanted a metallic color for the belt, as that's what it looked like on the box art, and what I remember from the movie, the belt did have like a metallic sheen to it. So I found my Citadel color Thalax Gold, and I thought, let me try that and see what that's going to look like. So this is the result. And while the paint does give me the look I'm going for, which is a nice metallic sheen to the belt, the gold is just a little too red for me. Look at something with more of a yellow tint. So this Batman is the one that's going to be on the bike, and the cape is going to cover the belt, and you'll barely be able to see any of it. You'll see a slight glint of metal. So I'm not going to worry about repainting this one. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Does look kind of cool, but just not the color I'm looking for. So I went to Gundam Planet today. Love that place. If you guys get the chance, definitely go. And I found this GX Blue Gold. And I think this is the color that I'm looking for. So we're going to put a little bit of it on our other Batman. Once we take it all apart. And see what the result is using the GX. They call it blue gold. Don't know why, but I kind of like the look that I'm seeing here. I hope it's not too thin. But let's see what we get. Oh yeah, guys, I think this is exactly the color that I was looking for. Because I wanted something that was more yellowish, you know, in the tradition of the original Batsuit. but I did want the metallic finish. And this particular paint is giving me everything that I wanted. Notice it. Mr. Hobby paints just kind of smell different than the other paints. I love this color. It goes on very opaque. One of the issues with some of these metallic paints is that they can go on very thin, and then you'll have to really build up the layers. This one is going on very thick, very opaque, so it makes using it a lot easier. Alright guys, now that the painting is done on the belts, which I think looks pretty cool, it's time to start some assembly. And we're going to start that by just doing a little test fit of the parts. The legs go on very easily, but you have to be very careful how you position them, as the stance of the figure depends completely on you making sure you have those legs installed at the right angle. While the instructions make no mention of this, it is possible to get the legs in a slightly incorrect angle, which would make it difficult for the figure to stand. The instructions just show a basic assembly of 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, which doesn't really tell you the whole story. Alright guys, when assembling the arms, you're going to notice these pegs here are a little too wide, and it won't allow the arms to fully seat into the sockets. So you're going to have to narrow them a little bit so that the arm will fit where it's supposed to. Now we're going to do that just by whittling away at it a little bit, little at a time. And doing some test fitting, which we probably should have done before we painted it. Ah, there we go. Look at that. That is almost perfect. Just a little bit of shaving off, and it fits snug into the socket right there. This is exactly what we want. Now we can just insert the arm there, and we have a really good fit to the body. Okay, we have the same issue with this arm. Guys, if you're going to recommend this kit, I definitely recommend you do a lot of fitting before you paint. Don't do like me.
Don't be that guy.
Now we're going to use our shading on oil, and we're going to do a little more shading on the body to bring out more of the details. This is a very subtle shading, as I don't want to take away from the grayness of the suit. Alright guys, here we go. The grand reveal of the Dark Knight Batman with comics accurate coloring and details. Look at this. Here it comes. Tell me that is not super cool. I love the way it looks. In the gray suit, the Nuln Oil really brings out all the detail in this model. I mean, it does have quite a bit. All the armor plating on the suit, all the segments really just come to life. And here you can see the way I had modified the cowl opening. I think it looks much better than the one that was supplied in the kit. The cape effect really came out nice. I'm really happy with it. The slight shine to the raised areas of the cape, with the rest of the cape being more of a matte black, really helps to separate all the folds in the cape. I mean, the armor, the body, everything, I'm just really happy with it. I'm not really a figure painter or a figure builder. This is one of my I guess one of my first real attempt at doing a figure, and I'm really happy with the results. There are places where I see I need to improve, and I want to try a little more weathering on the figure just to try and highlight a few more things. It's all part of the learning process. You know, I wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to just refresh my my skills a little bit, or learn new ones, because I just finished off 2 cars that were very labor intensive and very intense builds, and I wanted to try something that was just a little bit different. And these Batman figures are definitely very cool. Moebius did make a really nice kit, and if you really do a little extra work to them, they come out really nicely. Are they perfect? No, they're not. There were a few fit issues, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And now I'm going to give you my kit score, my review score, because you know everybody's got to do a review score now. And I give this kit probably a 7 out of 10. Very fun to build, very simple and easy build. If you want something that's just a break from your normal intensive builds, you want to do something simple and fun, this is a good kit to jump on. But there are a few fitment issues, as I did discuss during the video, which did kind of dampen a little bit of the enthusiasm of the kit. But it's still fun to build, and the fact that you get 2 complete Batman kits out of this one little box is also very neat. And then if you get the Bat Pod, which is probably what's coming up next, you can add your Bat Pod riding Batman to that kit. Just a really interesting bit of marketing on Moebius's part. But you can see all of the detail. The Nuln Oil really brings out all the detail in the suit. Adds all the shadowing. The metallic color on that belt just really works, for me anyway. I really like the way it looks. And I love the way the Mr. Hobby black primer gives a nice shine to the gloves, the boots, and the cowl. And I mean, the cape, I'm really happy with the cape. I didn't know if that effect would work, but for me, I think it worked great. So, that's it for the finished Dark Knight Batman. Now, let me give you a quick glimpse of the Bat Pod riding Dark Knight, so you can just get a quick glimpse of this. It's not finished yet. Still needs a little bit more work. But I want you guys to see what's coming for the Bat Pod. Alright, here is the Bat Pod Batman. Again, the cape effect really just worked out beautifully. I'm very happy with that. And here we have, again, the modified cowling. You can take a look at the armor. The metallic colors on the belt worked out really nicely. I think it actually worked out nicer on this one than it did on the other one. All the details in the suit coming out with that Nuln oil, adding the shadowing and all the effects. You can see the chainmail in the suit and the undersuit that goes underneath the armor. This is just a really neat kit, a really neat build. Again, very simple, very quick. And 7 out of 10, really not a bad score for a simple little kit like this. So that's going to be it, guys. That's going to end this particular build until we get the Bat Pod done. In which case, then we'll finish off the Bat Pod riding Batman and install it on the Bat Pod. So that's going to end this one here. Really just like the way the light just glints off the armor. Okay, I'm getting distracted. So I'm going to end it here. And stay tuned for the Bat Pod, where we'll continue the Bat-themed builds here. Oh, this is just so cool. I really like this Batman. The way it looks. That gray suit, really. Again, I'm getting distracted. Holy cow, where's that squirrel? Anyway, okay guys, I'm going to go. I'll leave you with a few beauty shots, and I'll see you on the next one.